What's up, guys? The interview is finally here, the one you've been waiting for, the one you've been asking about since I first announced it. With me is Craig, and he's going to answer your questions based on his personal experiences about moving here during the pandemic. He'll tell you things, what you need to know, things you might want to consider, and keep in mind he came from the UK to Cambodia, so it might be different if you're coming from any other country. All right? So please keep that in mind. So the first thing we need to talk about is the passport. Did you apply at the Cambodian embassy?
For the passport?
Your initial passport, or
visa.
Yes,
yeah,
visa. Yes.
Yeah. What I did was I read in forums first, and well, firstly, I read and watched obviously your videos for 2 years, and before I conjured up the courage to do what I did. And then as soon as I got the ball rolling in my head, I looked on forums and stuff for the easiest way to apply, and they kept saying this man's name's Savannah, which I'm been told now that they've had a switch over. They do it every year now, so there's a lady in the embassy at the minute now.
Okay.
So it might be different, like say the whole route might be different now, but I got hold of Savannah, and then I rang up the Cambodian embassy in about 4 days, like all day, and no one answered. So it must only be open on the one day that I didn't know. But on one of the days he answered, and I explained, I'd heard his name in the forums, and everybody was bigging him up and saying he was good, and can you help me to basically help me what I want to do to get the visa? And straight away he said, just add my WhatsApp. And we were talking as friends first. That's why it might be different for everybody else.
Right.
Because how my connection was made with him was you know.
It wasn't a straightforward
like
business
deal.
Yeah.
You know, it was a week of talking to him and being undecisive of my decision if I want to go and if I want. And then I don't know what it was. I just, you know, family matters and that. I just decided to dedicate. And then I said to him, okay, can you help me? How would I apply? And he goes, well, you need a support letter, which is the big thing that I'm sure everybody's worried about.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. I didn't have a job here or nothing. But my aim was just to come over on the off chance and look. So I explained to him I had my TEFL, and my idea was to land and then look for work. And that's what the people, I guess, really need to listen to is, you know, like, it's whether the lady now will let you come over if you show a photo of your TEFL and your reason to land and get work. It might not be allowed, whereas they need the support letter, don't they? As you've seen, everybody keeps saying support letter.
Yeah.
So I explained to him, look, I haven't got one. I won't be able to get one till I land and I do my CV, blah blah blah. And he sent me then a letter to say, just, you know, read this and kind of like, you know, research what this letter says and then write me one of your own. Which the letter basically said, I'm someone that's going to want to go to Cambodia. When I land, I got TEFL, blah blah blah. So it wasn't quite a support letter, but it was a letter from me explaining. And I sent it to him, and with my passport. No, I didn't send my passport the first time like a donut. I sent him just the letter, and then I did it standing delivery. So I sent £7.50 just to send a support letter over, and he messaged me and he goes, you know, you donut. You meant to send your passport, and I was like, oh, geez, that's how amateur I am for the whole thing. But anyway, I had to write the letter out again, sign it, blah blah blah. I send my passport then, and then when my passport got to him, he rang me, he asked me a few questions, and I was like, yeah, and then it cost me £75. You know, so
right.
So I'm not sure what that is in dollars or anything, but £75 British pound. And then he gave me a month one with a 3-month limit, so I had 3 months to get to the country, and then a month starts from that, you know how it works. And then and that was how I got my visa then, but
so basically you had to go through the embassy, and as long as you had supporting documentation, like you have a TEFL, even if you didn't already have a letter of commitment from a job over here,
somehow I got through, like,
right. As long as you can show you have a TEFL and that your intent is to come here long term and actually be employed, that serves as a kind of like a support letter.
Yeah, I guess with Savannah, but I'm not sure if the new lady is going to be so acceptable. Or you know, because he's obviously his own unique character and guy. So the lady I've heard that's in now is quite a bit stricter and that, you know, so I'd be a bit careful. But you could still try it and try your best, and I guess just be honest with her, like I was with him. And
well, yeah.
You'd be surprised what you can get if you just, like, you know, just push yourself, you know, and ask things you probably worry to ask.
Right, because I think right now the only reason you would need an absolute letter from a company here in Cambodia would be if you're applying for the e-visa. They just opened up the e-visas again.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
So that is like more of a, like they have rules.
Yeah.
So if you want the e-visa without having to go through the Cambodian embassy, you're going to have, it's going to be much stricter. There's going to be no leeway.
No.
But if there's a problem with you trying to get the visa, and for some reason you can't for legal reasons, they'll just say no.
Yeah,
they're not going to give you the visa.
I'm guessing,
Right.
yeah, that's it. Like, but then, as you know, even the airports, every airport they land, they're dealing with all this information. Like, so they're making their own thing up to think. Because I mean, at Heathrow, the first time, I've obviously got my insurance wrong, so I had to go home. I lost a lot of money, and then I built it up again, and I wasn't going to come here, and it let me down in my head and my heart. But then, you know, something triggered, and then I got the balls and courage to just do it again. And then, but when I went to Heathrow, she wasn't going to let me on because I didn't have a support letter at all. So I had to show her the Teflon and be like, look, I'm my visa. I said, look, you won't get a visa if the embassy won't issue it me.
Right.
But all she does is work in Heathrow. So she's reading off a paper what they're saying you need, and then they're being so strict with it because they don't want to fly you out, and then it's their fault, and obviously.
Right.
So she was very strict until I was like, go and get your manager, because she wasn't going to let me on. And I was like, look, go and get your manager. Eventually she spoke to the manager let me on, you know, because I wouldn't have the visa, I'm guessing. And then as I got to France,
Right, that's all you had to. That's all you had to explain. It's like they would not issue me the visa if my circumstances didn't allow me to come over.
Exactly,
Right.
and that's what I said to the lady so hard. But she was like, nope, we need support, which is fine. She's doing her job and that. But for me, it was like I spent all my money, leaving my family. I put all my everything I had into this trip, and for her, just the worker, to say that's why I was like, go get your own manager. And then even in France, and I booked the.
You did a Karen.
Yeah,
you did a Karen.
Yeah, I definitely.
I want to speak to your manager.
Yeah, and I did. I felt like Karen as well because I had to, and my whole life was on it. But even when I got to France, then I had Insure and Go, and I had it for a year, and it said it covers you 10 million in krona. So I assumed that was the right insurance, but it wasn't.
Right. So this is the insurance we're talking about now. You had to have at least $50,000 in health insurance.
No, you don't. Because that's out the window. What you have to do is you have to order Forte. It's called FORTE, and it's like a Cambodian new insurance or whatever. But that's the only one that the whole airports are allowed to let you fly now.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's called Forte. It is. But I had Insure and Go.
Forte.
Yeah.
FORTE.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's it. It might be different.
Yeah.
But so I had Insure and Go, and I got all the way to France, and they wasn't going to let me on that plane either. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, you know, if you're not, I wouldn't have been able to fly from Heathrow if I didn't have the right documents. But clearly, the woman that was so adamant that she was copying the trend didn't know that you needed Forte. So this is how miscommunicated it all is, you know?
Right. Like Cambodia or somebody else makes rules about what you need in your supporting documents, but then it's not translated.
No, exactly. So every country's just going on bits of paper what they're told to do. That's why it's been so hard for some people.
But you had to get a copy of your.
Yeah, for sure. That's what scared me
Yeah.
because the check-in had closed and everything, and I just booked this Forte, new one, paid £90. That's what it is, and I think it was either 90 or 60. So don't quote me, but I'll have a look into that. I'm sure people will do their homework before coming. But I had to book it on the check-in desk, basically on my phone. And then I showed the woman, because I had to go and print the receipt, and she pressed off the button. So when I went to go back on the receipt to print it, all it said was that I had an active pass. It wouldn't let me print the receipt. So I've shit myself, she's shitting herself because she's pressed the button.
Yeah.
And her manager's there like, no, we need the print, and it's got to be colour. And then everyone's boarded in the things for us. I'm like, I've got to do this Hail Mary, I've got to do Karen times super 10,000. You know what I mean? And I went, look,
got to break out the
my
Karen.
kids, I've got to France, you're not leaving me here in France, stuck. I was like, you can pay for my accommodation, my flight back, all my everything.
Yeah, you don't want to be stuck in France.
No, exactly. So and I knew that they'd have to get my bag off, and with that new law, they have to go on and get it. You can't get your bag back. So I mean, there's a weird law, and I kind of knew that in the back of my head. I thought, and then in the end, he goes, like everyone literally had checked in again. Like, so I was so scared, and then he goes, if you promise to print your thing out in Korea, where I was landing next, then I will let you board the plane, right? So I'm like, yeah, of course. So I promised and swore and that, like I would. And as soon as I got to Korea, then I looked for the printing station place, and I printed my 4th one out. Thankfully, it had been sent over by the end of the receipt and that in my Gmail. And I was scared on the whole flight, thinking, geez, I hope they send it over in Gmail. I'm going to get the receipt, you know. And I was just consistently getting paranoid, and like, and then I got to Korea and I printed it off. Silly me, printed in black and white, didn't I? I didn't know that there was why colour. Like I didn't.
Right. So you need a color copy of your Forte insurance,
and a coloured copy of your COVID as well, because
of your negative COVID test.
That's it, 100%.
Yeah. You also need a negative COVID test within 72 hours of arrival.
Yeah, exactly that.
And you need a physical color copy of that also.
And I think the one I used for that was Fast and Go or something. I wouldn't quote me, but it was. I think it was Fast and Go on is it like the laboratory was or something? But if you type it out in Google, I'm pretty sure the right thing will come up. And if anyone needs to really know, they can ask you, and then I'll get it for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got that negative. I went there, and then that's it. I got to Korea, printed out my thing in black and white, and then I got to check-in. I was smiling, you know, being all confident, and like because I had so much anxiety on this trip already. And the woman's like laughing at me, blah blah blah. I give her that. She's looking through my documents, everything. And she gets to my Forte one, and she's like, "Black, sir. We need colour." And everybody's boarding the plane now, and I'm like, "What?" So I was like, "Please, just give me time. I'll run back down." And I was literally in Korea boiling my tits off, and I had to run like 3 terminals, like 250 or something. My gate was. I had to run like 249, 248, 247 to get to the computer place again. And anybody who's been to Korean airport knows what I mean. And then I was running down, sweating my balls off. I got to the lady and I was like, please help, I need to print this in colour and so I can check in. And fairly she tried, and then we got all the way to the end, about to print, and only black. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, no way. And she goes, but if you go over there, you can print it off in colour with the computer place.
Right.
And I was like, what? So I quickly ran over to him, chucked him $3 on, please mate, please help me. His fair play, he came over, putting the paper in, and then I got onto my Gmail, printed it all out, ran back down the thing then, almost fainted, got to check-in, and they'd closed it, like, thing, and I was like, please, and she's like, looked at it, she's like, okay, I was like, thank you, lady. So I got on the plane then by the time I was getting to Cambodia and Phnom Penh, I looked at the time, and I think it's like 2-hour difference, and my visa ran out on the 2nd of February at 12 o'clock.
Right.
Like when I had to get to Cambodia by then in the night, and then otherwise it's exempt. So obviously, me being me, leaving everything to madness, I looked at the clock and it was something like 12:15. So my visa's exempt, I thought. But just as we landed, it was 12:15, and I was like, God, you're going to send me home anyway 15 minutes late now. You know, don't ask me why I pushed it. I had to push it to the last day for money issues, isn't it?
Right.
But yeah, I was landing then, and then it wasn't until the guy said, no, the difference is an hour. And I was like, oh, thanks.
So you had 1 hour to renew your visa, yeah.
So I landed at 11:15, so I'm like getting to the gate now, pooing myself still, because I haven't got my cover letter and that. And I know how strict it's been to get here, and now I've done all that travelling, and I'm like, I was sweating my balls off because I was in Cambodia as well.
Yeah.
But I was really anxiety and scared because I thought I was going home every other time on this journey. Why not the strictest place now to get in? Are they not going to send me home? So anyway, I'm getting to the check-in, and I got there, and it's like 11:50 it was, as the man was checking my stuff. 10 minutes to go, and that's it. I wouldn't even know able to fly anyway. That's how crazy this trip's been. But yeah, and he was going through it, and going through documents, and then straight away he's looking through it, and he's like, oh, you need a support letter. And I was like, God, I've got my TEFL, blah blah blah. And then I started like, I don't know, I just got scared and started like hitting my arm and saying, bloody hell, the mosquitoes, do you know what I mean? They're crazy out here. And there wasn't any mosquitoes biting me. I just knew that from Thailand. And he was like, yeah, and he explained best thing for them and stuff. Then he comes back to my stuff then, and he I don't know, he just didn't mention the support letter, whether blanked his mind less or whatever, I just didn't mention. I was like mad, and he kept going, did my forte thing, and then I got through to the next stage, which is a COVID straight out of Phnom Penh.
Right.
Got through there.
Okay, so you're in Thailand, or you're in Cambodia now. You're in Phnom Penh. And you got through, you had time, and that's another thing, like if you're going to come here, get your passport as late as possible.
Yeah.
Try to get it so you have at least a month, so when you get here, you're going to be in 2 weeks quarantine, so be sure that gives you enough time before it's renewed. So don't get it too early, I should say.
Yeah, well, even if it starts, it doesn't matter, it's a month after any
Right.
date that you come, so it's only expires, you've got 3 months from it being issued to get your flight and that, and then it takes a month after that. Once you get here, then it will expire. But I've already done mine yesterday, so I've been really busy, unfortunately. I can't get this video to you now. I tried.
Oh, that's all right.
But it's because I've had mad stuff, rent, find a place.
So when after you got through with the
Phnom Penh, that's it.
yeah, in Phnom Penh,
Yeah.
they immediately gave you a COVID test?
That's it immediately. In
Yeah,
the
like as soon as you got
in
through,
the airport, man, and they all blue smurfed out, like masks. Like,
And then they shuffled you off.
well, there was 2 lines. This is what scared me even more. Then I shit my packing pants, mate, because there was about 30 people, say, on the plane. 29 of them were in one queue, and I'm on my own in this queue. And I'm like, well, what the hell is this queue? And no one's been speaking. It's only a few, and everyone I met on the plane, that I spoke to, have got, all made good mates with quite a lot of people, man. It's cool. We're all like, oh, you're right, and I was just like, I don't have a clue, mate. I don't know what's going on. And then I sneaked back, and I was like, excuse me, sir. Did the old bow and the bum thing. And I was like, look, why am I in the queue on my own? Am I going home? He's like, no, sir. You come from Britain, so you gotta go to a separate hotel. And I was like, oh, thank the Lord. So I was like, so am I in Cambodia now? Am I actually in?
White privilege rules again.
I was like, yes, I'm in. And then they took me to my hotel, but weirdly, even though there's 2 queues, we all went on the same bus. And then maybe that's what it was actually. Everyone on the back goes off loads.
Right.
But yeah, they stopped off at their one, dropped them off. Went to my one, then dropped me off, and then it's you start your quarantine, and then I think it's like it's right on the last day or something, maybe, or maybe I don't know if you do too. Yeah, it's on the last day before you get out, you do another COVID test.
Right, on day 13.
That's no, mine was on day 14, and then on day 13 they did it. So on day 14. Everyone was getting let out quite early at the start, but then it got to like 9 o'clock at night, and then they rang up to say he's got a clear test. And I literally can leave after they said that, because of the people on there.
And during quarantine, let's talk about that, because you had to pay a $2,000 deposit in cash, correct?
Yeah, cash,
Yeah, okay.
I had to
Well, you didn't have to pay in
cash.
cash, but that's the most convenient.
I'm not sure how it works, but I took cash because you get travel folds and that when you book it off all online.
It's just easier. I've heard people having trouble trying to use Visa cards and things like that. So
I'd recommend that.
If that's another suggestion I would have for you, bring the cash for the deposit.
Bring the cash. And what I did was I went to my bank a week or so before, and then they all sorted it for me and sent me like a little travel pack where it's just all tucked up in there.
But
you give it at Phnom Penh airport, and after you've done the COVID and that, you go through another bit, and then that's when you give them the $2,000. You sign off, they take that. That's when you go to your hotel, and then your hotel, for example, mine was £55 a night.
£55 a night,
They take all this out your deposit now.
Right.
So £55 a night. And then they automatically give you meals for £30, but I would reject that, because that's £30 a day.
Yeah.
And it comes like little box tray, £10. It's not.
Yeah, so it's like $10 a meal, $55 a night, which is a ridiculous rate, but you have no choice.
Yeah. No, you can.
That's all coming out of your deposit.
Yeah, you can reject the food though, which is what I did. So you don't have to pay £30 a day for food. And then what I did was, if you're in boutique hotel, which I'm sure most of you probably will, you can go up to the 14th floor and everything. You can walk around the hotel when you're in the quarantine.
So they didn't keep you in the room at that hotel? Because there are some hotels you can't leave your room.
That's what I heard when I was in quarantine. There's one other hotel which is £90 a night, and they lock you in your room.
Right.
Like, so you don't. Hopefully, none of you get put in that hotel. Jesus.
But this one you can walk around. You could go upstairs to the pool and
manager, mate. You can't swim in the pool, but I was putting dipping my feet in, and then what I would do then was buy like a ham and cheese sandwich, fries for like $6. You know, but if you'd had that twice a day, that's like $12 rather than $30.
As opposed to 30, yeah.
Yeah, and what I wish I'd done also then was you get an app called Food Panda. You know, and that works.
Yep.
And I could have had that sent to the door, and then they would have just come and brought it to me like that. You know.
So there's another thing, food delivery, Food Panda at this hotel you can get.
Yeah, Food Panda app.
And
You
what's the name of the hotel?
OK Boutique Hotel.
OK Boutique.
Yeah, but it's basically called the Boutique Hotel.
So now they don't really give you a choice, but maybe if you get here you can suggest that one because it seems to be more lenient and less expensive than some of the other ones.
And the staff are amazing, the people, you know, absolutely class. I made good friends with them all, the manager I've got on Facebook and that. Even the people that were coming through, I think I had one altercation with a Scottish guy, and that's because he was bullying an old man. You know, and then, but apart from that, everyone I met was cool and was there for good reasons because of how hard it is, obviously.
And so they give you your second COVID test on day 13.
Day 13, yeah.
And then next day, usually even at night, but they clear it and you're free to go. But of course, since they put you right into there, you can't do anything first. Like they're not going to stop on the way to the hotel to let you get a SIM card or arrange anything. You got to do all that once you get out.
Well, the guy, I paid him $1, the coach driver, because it was only me and him on the way. So I paid him $1 and he let me smoke on the bus. So whether you know, I don't recommend it because you don't want to do it. Like, but I don't think they do actually. But you can't stop just for like the COVID reasons and stuff. You can't do that. Like even as much like. If you think of yourself, you've got to be a good person because we're coming to a culture and that's had it hard, as you know, Dave.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't want to be getting off or risking it. Or there's been a case now where Chinese have left, partied, and then brought COVID.
Yeah, in Phnom Penh, parts of Phnom Penh shut down now because they bribed everybody. These people were in quarantine and bribed the employees to let them go out and party, and a couple of them tested positive for COVID, so now they got to shut some things down. This is in Phnom Penh.
And if they lock down Phnom Penh, and it's not the Chinese, the people that were doing that stuff that day.
Right.
It's the you know, the people that live there, bless them, and that they've had to lock down, and this country hasn't got it for a reason. You know, they've done well. So for other people to come over, well, they're in quarantine and take the piss. You just don't even think about it. Like, don't even think about stopping or getting a SIM or. Just do what you asked. If anything, pay $1 and smoke a fag on the road. But
you're not getting any of your deposit back until it took about a week for you, right?
Yeah, that's another thing.
It took about a week.
Was when you get out of quarantine, I was told a day, 2, 3 that it would take. But I came here and then I was going to get a flat straight away and that. And it took, I think it was 7 days or something crazy after before they eventually give me. I think I had like £830 back, maybe out of my 2,000.
So 2,000, you got like $830 back.
Yeah, and that's me, but it might differ, you know.
Right, it's going to depend on what hotel and what you eat. If you if you want to spend the extra $30 a day on the small portion of pretty crappy food, you know, or order from Food Panda or something, it's much cheaper.
But I didn't, and that's why I'm telling people, is because I made a lot of mistakes, and I don't mind helping people if they want to learn, even in depth of my mistakes. But I'm just giving this interview so people can have a rough idea of, you know, if they want to make the jump or if they don't want to make the leap. And if they do make the leap, then you've got a couple more words from a fuck up who's come from nothing and tried to do this. And, you know, like I know a lot of old people, they want to come back and chill here and that.
Yeah.
And that would be lovely for them, but. Make sure they just do all their homework. So
and retirement could be a lot different because, of course, you don't need supporting documentation for retirement.
Oh, that's even beautiful. This will just help you on getting what you need, the COVID test. Make sure you get Forte insurance.
Forte insurance, Forte.
Yeah, you need that. And then your $2,000, and then all of you old legends can come and carry on doing what you do with your retirement, rightfully so. But if you're like me, just young and trying to look for work and either get a support letter or just try and do it the way I did and hope and cross your fingers and squeeze your arse the whole journey, because like even getting London I was 15 minutes in, so that shows you how much of a fuck up I can be. But if I can do it,
we all do that.
We hope that everybody else who watches your channel and wants to do it doesn't get too put off about it, because look at me, I'm sat down.
Rules change all the time, and like you mentioned, there's no there's no chain of command when it comes to giving out what those rules are
That's it,
between
yeah.
airports and different countries.
Any airport
So sometimes you just have to be a Karen. You just have to stand up and go, nope,
Yeah,
listen,
100%, yeah.
here's the deal.
Yeah.
You know, and as long as you do it in a nice way and you're not mean and cussing and swearing and causing a scene,
Just,
generally they're going to be, you know, because at the end they're airport employees. They're like, okay, I don't want to deal with it.
I'd say if you've got your positive COVID for 72 hours in a colour, you've got your forte in colour, and your receipt of it. You need the printout and a receipt of the print.
Oh, you need your
well.
receipt
Yeah.
for the forte.
I don't know
Okay.
why, but that's what Frank said. So you've got the COVID, you've got the forte, you've got your $2,000. If you're
Your visa.
you've got your visa, and then my one I've just extended yesterday for 6 months. So even if you get the one to come in for a month, they're pretty easy. You just go in and pay $200 or something. I think it's 160 actually, and you can get it extended for 6 months if it's your first time to Cambodia.
Yeah.
You know, if not, then it's 3 months, which is still a long
It's
amount of time to
yeah.
get work if there's work. You know?
Right.
You know, so just get that your visa, your COVID positive test, your forte insurance, your $2,000, and obviously your car custody yourself. And then I'm pretty sure you can carry it all the way if they try and argue any of them. Obviously, if you're coming over not a retiree, you need a support letter as well. Or you need to speak to they won't issue you the visa, I guess, unless you speak to the woman and say, you know, because they want the support letter too in the embassy. So that's if you get past that stage and they give you the visa, then I say carry it, because you paid a lot of money and it's your life and process. But if you've done any wrong on any of them, they have a right to send you back or whatever, because it's the COVID situation, it's a pandemic, and they're following duty protocol as well, which is rightfully so. And you know, you've just got to do it rather than travelling all the way to Phnom Penh to stay, and then they're like, you can't come in.
And keep in mind, like I said, all of this is him coming from the United Kingdom, and so it could be different in your country. You will have to check with your Cambodian embassy or consulates and see if the rules are different, if there's any changes. I know there are some countries they don't even allow in. So if you're thinking about coming over here, that should be your first step.
Yeah.
Check with your Cambodian embassy. They'll tell you what you need to know, and if you don't qualify, they will just not issue you your initial visa. So.
And if you are coming from Britain, I've heard they put on £1,500 quarantine when you go back. But at the minute, I don't think Cambodia is on that list, thankfully. But if it does get put on it, you got to bear in mind when you're coming over, you got to have good intentions and not coming over here for a holiday or something.
Right. Well, there's no tourist visas right now anyway.
But you can still get over here on, say, if you do what my plan, just to get over here for the month.
Right.
You still go home after the month. You know? So you could technically come as a little tourist in a sense. I'm not saying to, but if people are thinking that, then you could come over and then you could get stuck. Like they could ask for $1.5 grand there. You know, you could be a lockdown here, for example, as you know, like anything.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be coming trying to wing it for tourism. You want to come over for the with it in your mind.
And that would be a pretty expensive vacation.
Yeah. But still, people have known. You know, it is known. I mean,
I guess if you got the money, it's okay. But most people,
yeah, exactly. But it's a risk gamble if you do it that way just for nothing. But yeah, I can imagine some people are eager to get out and want to just tourism, and they think my video and me doing what I've done is going to, and they can wing it, but it's not as easy as that, and I won't wing it at all. You know, I've grafted, I watched your videos for 2 years, you know, which is why I'm coming over like, and stressed out too much, because I met you, and then I also know where you've been, what you've done, like that, so I know what to do. Like even with the embassy, I messaged you and you helped me straight away, and, you know, I've just can get quite anxious over it, as you know. Like
I know it's a very anxious situation, though.
Yeah, overwhelming.
You're picking up your life, moving it to another country. It's very unsettling at times.
To say the least, yeah. So, you know, thankfully I've got someone lucky like yourself to be able to have as help. But if you haven't, it can be so quick and quite hard. You know, even the 7 days that you didn't get your deposit back, I wouldn't have known if I didn't sleep on your floor for 3 days.
Yeah, he was sleeping on that hard floor.
Dusty road outside with those dogs on it. Like, do you know what I mean? Because I assumed 3 days, and then it wasn't. It was 7 days. You know, and then
right? Because they tell you, 3 days to get your deposit back, but sometimes, this is Cambodia, and that doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'd say as long as everyone's got this information now, maybe they can get a better understanding of what you've got to do to come over here. And what not to do, like insure and go like I did, and then you paid for the wrong insurance, and then you got to get thanks or something, you know. But that's just giving me a little glimpse and an eye opener from my end, you know.
All right, and there you have it. That's his story. Like I said, a first-hand experience. All the things and all the mistakes he made, you can learn from. But like I said, you do have to have certain things. So get those things together. Get them together in a proper time frame, and then just get ready for the adventure.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And if you have any questions specifically for Craig, I will communicate those to him. And if you want, we'll do another video here pretty soon. All right.
And then just say much love to anyone that's gone over and stay safe, innit? Yeah.
And me and him both will see you over here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Talk to you guys in the next one.